Greetings, heroes and Force users of all ages. Welcome to Inside the Tauntaun, a podcast in the multiverse of fandom. I'm Alyssa Simmons, and I'm joined today by my two pals, Dino Nicandros.
Hello.
And Daniel Dawson.
Hello there.
And today we are talking the Disney Plus Star Wars series Tales of the Jedi, created by Dave Filoni, based on Star Wars by George Lucas, and the novel Ahsoka by E.K. Johnston. And by God, we're Star Wars fans.
I don't know who you are or where you came from.
I am Iron.
I thought they smelled bad. On the outside.
Smells like a new car in here.
Inside the Tauntaun, this is our opening song. Alyssa, Daniel, Dino, talking nerd stuff, come along. Inside the Tauntaun podcast, please like and subscribe.
By God.
Well, we're late
God.
to the game on this
We're
one, but
very late, but better late than never.
No, we're gonna
That's
pretend
right.
like we filmed this like way back. You know, we just forgot to post it. That's all.
fine.
Sure.
Fine.
That's what happened.
Yeah. we got real busy.
It is
We
true.
did.
But
We
before we talk about this this little show, how are you two doing?
Oh,
We are Tauntauns.
fine. We are Tauntauns. Oh my God, that's our new commercial. I'm sure we'll get a cease and desist letter, but it's fine. It's worth it.
Totally worth it.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Uh-oh, his voice is going so far up. Well, Daniel, you want to tell your kind of scary story?
Scary stories, guys. You know, you could be a fairly good driver and be really, really cognizant of the road, and you know, sometimes it just doesn't matter. I got hit. Big old car accident, but I'm not dead, and the other driver's not dead, so everything is good. Cars are just things.
Cars are things.
My neck
and
pain, however,
that's also a thing.
it is also a thing. It's a thing. But I mean, other
Oh.
than that, you know, I mean, that is the least of my worries. I am
Sure.
super duper happy to be amongst the living Tauntauns.
Yeah,
We
are
don't have
too.
any dead Tauntauns. Oh God, knock on wood. Oh jeez.
Got one right here, actually.
Yeah. Oh right, there he is. Yeah, the only dead Tauntaun is the one from the movie.
Yeah. Dino, how are you? You just got back from your trip.
Yeah, I was in London and Edinburgh over New Year's.
Did you have any meat pies?
I actually did not have
It's probably
a
smart.
meat pie this time around.
I've heard
Um,
they're you know.
Don't trust him.
Yeah, I don't trust them.
They're hit and miss.
What's your rush? What's your hurry?
Now West pies and
the priest.
We got it out of the way, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
thank
we
you.
brought up pies in London, so
No, it was great. New Year's Eve in London was nuts.
lit, as the kids say.
There was just way too many people,
oh
but
yeah. Ooh.
but it was very enjoyable. I hadn't
Were
been
you
back in a long
amongst
time.
like the crowds and such?
Well, so we were staying in an Airbnb on the opposite side of the river.
Siri,
and,
shut up.
I had a dinner reservation at like 7 p.m. and it did not occur to me that they were
On New
closing
Year's
the
Eve?
bridge. Yeah, they were closing the bridges to get into the city of Westminster. And
Oh.
so they closed as I was like driving up to one of these
Their
bridges.
Westminster is much more fancy than our Westminster.
Yes, it is. But I tried to walk
No
over one
offense.
bridge and got stopped by the police. They said, "We're closing this one, but hush, hush, if you hurry over to the next bridge, which is like a 10-minute walk, they're closing in 15 minutes.
Oh.
Oh.
Just
oh.
don't tell anyone else because they don't want people rushing over there."
Sure.
Jeez.
So we snuck
you make
over
it?
there. We made it over there, and
Oh.
then it was like an apocalyptic movie. They basically trapped everybody on one side of the river.
That
Oh, I
doesn't
hate
sound
that.
dangerous.
I don't like that at
sounds-
all.
That sounds,
And you basically couldn't get to the other side for about 4 hours. So
it sounds like the third Batman movie a little bit.
that's exactly what it was. It was
totally.
Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, right.
Gosh.
No, but it was great. I had a great time. I'm jet lagged as hell, but
Ugh.
very very pleased.
And you
This
still
is
have a
all-
car.
I'm sorry?
You still have a car.
Yes.
Yeah. That's nice. I don't.
Oh, that's where that was going. I was like,
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
okay,
Yes.
all
Okay.
right.
Yes. I see what you're saying. I'm sorry. Yes, I do.
Mhm.
Oh,
Alyssa,
boy.
how are you?
Oh, I'm fine.
How's
All
your
of the
car?
my car is there, Daniel.
That's
Sorry
great.
to tell
That's
you.
great. That's great.
Yep, all the holiday things are closed.
Oh,
Yay!
great. Did you get all your Christmas decorations down yet?
Yes, they are down.
Excellent. Me
We
too.
got those down like the 2nd, I think.
Oh, wow.
January
That's
2nd.
very early.
Yeah, we do the new year and then we're like, okay, time.
I think
Time
this
to
year there was a lot of more wiggle room because they had what's it called? Not Oxford Christmas. What's it called? It's a different kind of Christmas, but it was like January 5th or something.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
No?
Christmas.
Okay, hold on. While you're telling us
Who
things.
did this?
Who did
Yeah,
this?
who? What are you talking about? Who people had
Who is
January 5th?
You know those people.
Nope.
Although the 12 days of Christmas technically are from Christmas Day,
Until the
January 6th.
Oh, well, maybe that's it. Is that it?
Yeah. Yes.
Ugh.
That's always been a thing.
Well.
Christmas in January. That's what I'm Googling right now.
Well,
And
I
then
mean,
Orthodox
there's
Christmas
three,
is-
there's Three Kings Day, which technically that's like
Three kings of
That's-
Oriental. Oh, yeah, wait. Am I crazy? It's Orthodox Christmas Day.
Yeah.
January
Orthodox
7th.
Christmas is, yeah.
I'm not
technically my
crazy.
Christmas.
Just crazy. Oh, poor Maggie. She was like, she rang the bell next to the door, and then she was like looking at me like, Dad, yeah? We're going to go outside? And I was like, no. And so she like
No.
laid down. She's like, with both of her paws like this, like,
Aw. just mad.
She's like, I'm upset. I hate Tauntaun time. Tauntaun time.
Yeah.
Poor little
Anyways,
bugger.
that's all. I'm glad that I was grateful for all of the holiday plays that I was
course.
in,
Oh
but
my gosh, yes.
I just did my last one last night. And
Oh,
so I was just
weird.
like,
Oh, wow.
today is the last day in all the theme parks of the holiday season. So
it's
I'm just really
done.
glad to not be doing that anymore because, people are still happy, but they're also sick of it.
Uh-huh.
Fair
Yes.
enough.
Yes.
They're just like, oh, don't sing "It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas."
Yes,
to
please,
me.
please
don't
don't."
sing that, you idiot.
Yeah. Santa Claus
Uh,
is coming to town and for
next year.
Yeah.
60 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, but should we talk about Tales of the Jedi?
Yeah.
Finally,
We should.
Yes.
now.
I mean, there's a
Okay,
reason
okay.
why. There's not. The reason why that we waited so long is because we were busy. But the reason why we're doing it is because the show is very worth talking about. Like short
Agreed.
as hell, but impactful.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Amazing, yeah, incredible, and also like I loved it way more than Bad Batch season 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, it wasn't close. It wasn't
And
particularly
we're about
close.
to
Here's the
cover
thing.
Bad Batch season 2, but
Here's the thing that I will say that Bad Batch did have like wonderfully impactful, cool moments.
Yes.
And Tales of the Jedi also did, and adds to the lore of like Order 66 and all the things. The thing that does Tales of the Jedi probably I think that we can say is better is that it's short.
It's very short.
Yeah.
Well, it gets to
sweet.
the point.
It gets right to the point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it shows us the new little like bits of lore that we want, and the rest is left to the imagination, which is fine. Like there's nothing against the Bad Batch because I truly do like love the extra lore that it has given us so far. But yeah, there is a fair amount of extra that like it's maybe.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like we have said a million times about all the things, if Bad Batch is your cup of Star Wars tea, that's great.
Absolutely.
We love it.
And that's
We will be covering Bad Batch season 2 on
Yes.
here. We're probably gonna do like some nice combo episodes.
Yeah.
So we'll do like
because they are so short.
episodes. They're short, yeah. So it's like we'll probably do like in 3 or 4 episode chunks.
Chunks. We love chunky chunks on
But
this
today we're
topic.
talking about all of season 1
This is a real
Technic-
big chunk.
is season 2
I don't know
a
if it's
thing?
I don't know if it's been announced, but it's like I think for how well it did, and yeah, as long as Dave Filoni still has stories to tell, then I'm assuming they're going to let him do it.
Yeah.
'Cause
I
I
was
can't
really
imagine- Oh, I was just
I
gonna
was
s- oh,
really
yes?
I was not really I don't know. I when we saw the few like little like the trailer and the clips at Celebration
Oh
for
yeah,
this.
right. Because
I was
they
like,
showed us Baby Ahsoka, basically the first
Mhm.
episode.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, sure. This will be fun.
Uh-huh.
But I really enjoyed myself. I rewatched
Yeah.
the whole thing yesterday, which you can do in one sitting
It's
because
a
like
zip zap zop, very
Yeah, yeah,
easy.
all in all, it's like an hour and a half of an hour 45, I think, all the
Yeah.
episodes combined.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was just really enjoyable to watch again, and I don't know if I talked about it here, but a couple of years ago I read the Ahsoka novel by
Oh,
E.K.
right.
Johnston,
I'm glad you did
which
because I have questions. I have questions.
yeah, like basically other than the baby Ahsoka
Sure.
episode, all of the other Ahsoka stuff in this is just pulled right from the novel.
I know there were some people that were like, "Oh, you like changed the lore. It's different." But I mean, like from
Yep.
what I understand, it's like it's all the same story. It's just condensed majorly. Like right?
Majorly condensed, and I remember when
Specifically
E.K.
the
Johnston
I was gonna say specifically the moment where she meets or she meets up with Bail Organa. Like
Yes.
that
At
moment
Padme's
is
funeral. Yeah.
Yes, like from what I understand, that moment is specifically different from the book.
yeah, that's not in there.
Yeah, like
But
it happens later
yeah,
or something maybe.
yeah, but all of the other stuff is there, and obviously very condensed.
Sure.
But yeah, that was really cool to get to see it
In
played
live
out
action. Well, live action, whatever.
animated form.
Yes.
Yeah, at first I was like, oh, are they like crediting E.K. Johnston? Like, how is this working?
But
They were not credited like in the show, but like it has like come out like obviously this
like,
was
like they've like
Yep.
in people have asked
we're
Dave Filoni.
loosely adapting the events from the book.
Right.
Right.
So I hope that that was like not a, oh my gosh, my my thing that I wrote is now on this television
Yeah.
show,
Right,
What
and
the
right.
hell?
I'm not making any money from it. I genuinely hope it's not that kind of situation, but I
Yeah.
haven't seen any nastiness on the internet about it, which leads me
No.
to believe that
Sure.
hopefully it was an amicable
Although I
thing.
will say it was interesting. I think I don't have like an exact quote from Dave Filoni, but he was kind of asked about the changes that were made, and I'm like, and he wasn't flippant about it, but like I just seemed like he seems like such a canon like specific dude, like it's got to fit like all the little bips and boops. But the fact that he was kind of just like, it's the same story. We just kind of like made things fit into the short thing like better.
Mm-hmm.
Like it seemed a little like not him. Like, but I guess like for this, it just didn't matter as much.
Yeah.
Sure.
Did either of you have a favorite episode from the bunch?
Probably. I think, God, they're all so great. But which
Do you
one
want
was
me to
the
just
one?
do you want me to just say them real quick so that you can have them
Sure.
fresh?
Yeah.
Just-
Go
just
ahead.
for everyone.
'Cause I'm
Yeah.
going through them myself too. But
yeah, so episode 1 is Life and Death, and that's the baby Ahsoka on the saber-toothed tiger.
That's basically what it is.
Then episode 2 is called Justice, and that's when
Justice.
Jedi Master Dooku and Qui-Gon Jinn are sent to rescue the kidnapped senator's son.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a lot of messiness there with what's happening politically and
Yes.
boobity bops.
Boobity bops, right.
Episode 3 is called Choices, and that's when Count Dooku and Mace Windu investigate the mysterious death of a Jedi. Turns out the Senator's Guard killed the Jedi, and we sort of see the seeds being planted for Count Dooku really
Digging in.
really going astray.
Mm-hmm.
And then episode 4 is the Sith Lord. Qui-Gon Jinn informs the High Council that he has encountered Darth Maul on Tatooine. And
This is episode 4?
This is episode 4. This
Okay,
is
yeah.
This is the one with Yaddle.
Yes.
And
I'm pretty sure I remembered it being number 4, but yes, I think the fourth one was my favorite. Yeah.
Yaddle is killed by Dooku in order to preserve his secret.
Wow.
Episode 5, Practice Makes Perfect, is
Doesn't it?
Anakin being a drill sergeant with Ahsoka
Right.
and putting her in this weird, crazy test with a group of clones. And essentially, this drill is what made Ahsoka able to survive
Right.
Order 66,
Yeah.
which is
Just-
wild.
And it's kind of poetic, you know.
Very much so.
And the final episode is Resolve. And that's the episode where Ahsoka is going out hiding. She's hiding out as a farmer. And she saves this girl
the farmer
from the
and the
Force.
Jedi should be friends. One
And
man likes to push a flower, the other likes to-
the village is massacred by an Inquisitor. Ahsoka kills the Inquisitor. And that's sort of the start of her joining the rebellion officially.
Yeah. Pretty easily, I think, the episode 4 for me, because it was just such
Sith
a
Lord.
yeah, like it was such a the other ones were like, it felt like they're fairly big like character building lore things, but this was like a big lore moment that
Yes.
like it was like this I mean it kind of, I mean, I understand why it wasn't in the films, well, A, because maybe they just hadn't like thought of it yet, but also B, that it doesn't really it goes away from our main characters for too long, but like it's a big deal that happened, Yaddle being killed and Yaddle knowing that all that was going on. It's pretty big deal. And it was emotionally impactful too. It was like, I thought it was like so, and Ian McDermott coming back for his voice was really cool.
Yes.
And we also got good old what's her face playing Yaddle.
Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yes, Bryce Dallas Howard, which was fun. Although Yaddle doesn't have a funny voice like Yoda.
I know it raises serious questions about whether Yoda's been putting us on this whole time.
Yeah, or he had like some
Being
kind of a stroke.
intentionally
Right.
obtuse.
Yeah, at some point, so he was bonked on the head and just started talking backwards.
He's just an
Or he was
asshole.
just like force choked so hard that that's why his voice box like all crushed.
Yeah, there's
I
your
think,
problem.
I think he's just a dick.
Yeah. He goes home. He's like,
That
oh
tracks.
God, these damn Jedi, they're so stupid.
Dino, did you have a favorite from the
Well, Daniel
list?
stole mine, but
Sorry.
jerk?
but I'll expound on it.
We share it. We didn't.
I think 4 is my favorite. I don't think it is as far and away as Daniel described necessarily, only because I enjoyed the 3 episodes that showed us different sides of Dooku,
Yeah.
or as Daniel pointed out, the development of his ideology and how it's not necessarily based in darkness so much as a form. Well, I need to be careful how I say that.
Well, no, this is
it comes from a sense of wanting justice,
right.
which can be perverted, and it is.
He recognized he recognized that the Jedi were blind, and that they were that he saw the wrong side of the Jedi. So and
that perhaps their way of looking at things was limited,
Right.
or rather, it limited their ability to deal with real world problems in a very practical way.
Yeah.
And because he's motivated very much by social justice,
right.
and
What
or
about
his view of it anyway. And you see the first 2 episodes with him, you see very kind of clear lines being drawn in how he deals with the senator, and
Right.
you see where his rage comes from.
Yeah.
His impulsivity.
Yeah,
And
and
then-
that's the part that I think we started to see more of his core being, like
Yes.
like the things that are learned and the things that are like just who he is,
Right.
and
Yeah.
like I the rage part, I think like might have always been like something that was boiling up inside him,
Well, and it's important they show that because it's the character flaw, I suppose, that
Yeah.
would make him easily seduced.
right, exactly. Because I mean,
by
truly,
Sidious.
like because Ahsoka saw the stupidity of the Jedi too,
Yeah.
but she didn't end up like him. And I, in a way, we didn't really get into it because he died too soon, but Qui-Gon Jinn too,
And Obi-Wan.
and Obi-Wan. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right,
Yep.
absolutely. So,
They
they're-
all, the wisest see it. Luke,
yeah,
after the
Yeah,
fact,
totally.
they all see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some problems.
I think
Yeah.
even Yoda saw it. Yoda
Yeah.
even talks about how blind we've been, and
right. But it was all too.
it
late.
makes Dooku such a tragic, yet another kind of tragic character.
Yeah,
In a somewhat similar way to the way Maul was.
yeah, kind of.
Just a tool in a
Right.
larger game. But what was so tragic about Dooku was the episode when he doesn't go to Qui-Gon's funeral and says, Qui-Gon's one with the Force, I don't need to be there. And you can tell, and it's based on Yaddle's assumptions, but you can tell he blames the Jedi for it.
Right.
But then he shows up at Sidious's hideout. It's like, what the hell, bro?
Yeah,
like
that wasn't
let
part of the
Maul-
plan.
You let Maul kill him, and Sidious's reply is so trademark Sidious, in which he says, "You and I both lost an apprentice for a larger goal." And Dooku's like, I've given you everything, and he's like, well, you're gonna have to give me more if we're gonna.
I've given you sunshine, giving you
But
dirt.
it's so sad because Dooku thought he could kind of have his cake and eat it too. He was like, we're gonna remake the galaxy, but I'm gonna have Qui-Gon with me, and
Yeah, he had it sounded like he had negotiated some terms, and his terms were, basically torn up, and
well, and he's getting a crash course in Sith deception,
Right.
and he asks Sidious, are you questioning my loyalty? And Sidious says, always.
always
Like, oh God, but what a great, and yet another great insight to the Sith. And you
Yeah.
have to wonder if now that we see what happens to Dooku in Revenge of the Sith, if he had to have known something like that was coming.
probably. Yeah.
And just seeing how obsessed his master was with Anakin Skywalker, you had to wonder if he knew deep down he was going to be pushed aside. It's just it's
hard
all
to-
very sad.
I think that a lot of them, because the Sith people who go, fall into the Sith, they tend to all have the same one major similar trait, and it's not pride. I mean, pride is one thing, but
yes.
but oh God, what is it called? Where you want to keep climbing that ladder? It's
Ambition.
yeah, ambitious people.
They're Slytherins.
They're Slytherins, totally, and
Not necessarily bad, but very easily corrupted because of that
and
trait.
I'm thinking that deep down inside, he's probably doubting that the Emperor is going to ever I think that there's part of him that thinks oh, I'm gonna come out on top on this. I'm gonna I'll play his game, but inevitably I'm gonna be big chief eventually. Because I mean this is sort of a preview into our breakdown of
Bad Batch.
But we do get to see a little background on Dooku again in this, and we see that he did a lot of looting and hoarding of wealth,
Sith artifacts. Yeah.
So yeah, and it's interesting. It's I assume he was doing that in for the Emperor and for the the Sith and everything, but I mean and the Empire, but I'm sure he probably was doing it for himself too,
Yeah, and you have to wonder whether he was devoted to the Sith for the Sith's sake, or if the Sith were a means to remaking the galaxy in the way he saw to be equitable and fair, and which is very twisted way of doing it,
right?
But it's also, I don't know, it's you can understand him a lot more than a person like Sidious.
Yes, and I think that's what this Tales of the Jedi did the best, is that it makes him, it doesn't make you go oh, of course, he had to
you're
do
not
it that
rooting
way.
for him.
Yeah, you're not rooting for him, but you understand
not.
why he went the way he did for the most part.
Which is a fascinating look on someone that we pretty much were I think Daniel, you said do we need a Count Dooku backstory? I mean, maybe, I guess. Sure, we're not gonna say no, but
I'm super happy about it.
Yeah, he definitely, it was fascinating to watch all of that combination of just sort of internal stuff that was already there with all of this new political hubba jubba.
Well, another interesting bit of color that they threw in, teaming him up with Mace Windu, which was kind of a very interesting dynamic, and when you flash forward to Attack of the Clones, it really sets up their confrontation in the arena nicely. But
for sure.
The fact Dooku was passed up by Windu for a seat on the council, which you're drawing another parallel to Anakin,
totally,
and I loved that. I was like, oh, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's just an extra little thing of people, as we've seen in our own world, people do really, really crazy stuff when they feel like they've been overlooked and marginalized in life.
Sure,
that's very true. I thought there was a fun young Qui-Gon Jinn was played by Liam Neeson's son, apparently.
Yeah, very
which
cool.
I thought was very cool. Loved that.
And
it was lovely to obviously hear some of our voice cast from previous Dave Filoni projects.
Yes.
Obviously, we had
Corey Burton. My God,
Corey Burton as Count Dooku. Who, what can he not do?
It's brilliant.
He does Christopher Lee so well.
He really does.
He just that
a deep growl,
Yeah, he's so freaking good. If you don't know who that is, he voiced Cad Bane.
Mm-hmm.
Which was also dope.
Which was also amazing. He's also done lots of stuff for Disney. He's currently still the voice of Captain Hook.
Oh, is that right? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and lots of DC animated universe stuff. He's super duper talented voice actor, so that was lovely to hear him. And obviously Ashley Eckstein back.
Yep,
obviously
as Ahsoka Tano.
which is great. I mean, I really do hope that she gets to like, because I know that she's kind of passing the torch to her like live action, version of
Reserve.
herself,
Awesome.
But I do hope.
Well, I
that
mean,
she
as long
gets-
as they continue to make animated Ahsoka stuff, she'll keep doing it.
I think that
It's-
she will too. Yeah,
It's her part.
it's
Yeah.
just as much
Well-
her part as it is now.
And
Well, she's
Alyssa,
been doing
before
it for a very long time.
Yes.
before we get to your favorite, I will say, from an imagery standpoint, my favorite was the last one.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, it was beautiful.
I thought
You're right.
that was her Ahsoka's confrontation with the Inquisitor, just surrounded by flames and
that's a cool looking
animation detail. It was a very cool looking Inquisitor, but
Yeah.
the detail of like dragging the blade on the ground and having the flame, having it kind of crackle over, like this, the tiny, like where they've gone with animation is. This was such a show off.
Honestly, you took the words out of my mouth because it's weird because like it is the subtle things that make the biggest difference, and it's the lighting. The lighting is the things that they can do with lighting.
Yeah,
now,
Bad Patch
and
does that so well.
Yeah, it's gotten so good. Like the shadows and all the things. It's just
We won't get into it now, but if you haven't watched the first 2 episodes of Bad Batch yet, I mean, there were so many moments where we talked about this last season too. It's like that is a painting.
Yeah, every frame.
I mean, the way the show started out on that beach, I was like, "Are you what?"
It's so pretty.
I cannot believe this animation. Like it's just next level. It really, really is. Yeah. I mean, I think if I had to pick a favorite, I would pick the last episode.
Cool.
Just
look at us all
because it
picking
was,
different episodes almost.
Well, you two picked the same one.
Yeah,
No,
technically.
I picked
But
an
you
arc.
had different reasons.
I
You
copped
had
out.
Yeah,
different
he picked an arc.
reasons
Yeah,
for-
he did.
I picked 3 of the 6.
Yeah. It was cool to see parts of the novel played out. In the novel, this kind of farming settlement was not so like, I mean, you saw pieces of it with them being like, oh yeah, the Empire is like in charge of what we do here and everything. But in the book, it's like real scary and real dark. Like people are
There's not like
it's very Nazi regime.
Yeah.
Because in this, they had a guy that was like a sympathizer. He was just like, oh yeah, the Emperor's really great.
Yeah, that was not a thing. Like it was like there was a sort of terror looming underneath all of them, working all day long, like, just back-breaking work. There were people being like, if they, weren't producing what they should be, just killed, like right in the fields, like very, very dark.
Well, this version, I think lends itself more to the universe as it stands right now.
Sure.
With like Andor, for instance, like how like mixed vibes you're getting from people and their view of the Empire itself.
Yep.
Like, I like the Emperor, he says what he means. Was that line? I can't remember. I love that line from Andor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, and the at Mon Mothma's like
party
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the novel, when Ahsoka, or Ashla as she is going by,
right,
she becomes really close with 2 sisters. And they had a sister brother thing for this series. And she has a romantic relationship with one of the sisters.
She's a lesbian?
Well, she's like emotionally, it's not a physical relationship, but
I mean,
she loves her, and
Well, there is no sex in Star Wars.
Well,
correct.
Until
not
Andor.
yet.
Until Andor.
Yeah, right.
But
I'm surprised
yeah,
I haven't
then,
seen like that scene where they get like they're hiding in the storage closet with that music. Yes, somebody needs to edit that.
You need to make it. That's an easy edit. Yeah, so I just thought it was really well done. I enjoyed myself from start to finish.
Yeah, I don't think that there was an episode where I was just like, eh.
Well, in that last episode, we've had several moments in animated Star Wars of Ahsoka kind of coming into her own, but this one reminded me of how quickly Obi-Wan dispatched Maul in their final confrontation.
Yeah.
And that was the moment.
Because it was
that's
a
the moment
really
we
short
knew.
duel. Yeah.
But that's the moment
yeah,
we knew
yeah.
Obi-Wan was now Obi-Wan. Like
Yeah.
he, a defensive fighter. He was so confident in his ability, like fully realized Jedi Master Kenobi. And
sure.
I feel like this was Ahsoka's moment to kind of take that step into how we know her come Rebels and like
Yeah.
a seasoned Jedi Master.
She
And I
doesn't.
loved Bail Organa's like the last line of the episode where he was like, "It's gotten way worse. Are you sure you're ready to come back?" And she sure is.
She sure is. I just that all those little bips and boops. It just it just is again like a testament to Dave Filoni's love for the prequels, and like he just keeps filling it out and making those movies so much more enjoyable than they were. Because you just like, and now I'll be, when I see her Padme's funeral, I'll be thinking like, oh, Ahsoka's
there somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ahsoka's out there.
Yeah.
I love that feeling. I think that's so cool.
Here's a question, just because half of this little limited series focused on Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Do you think we are overexposed to her now?
To Ahsoka?
Yeah. Do you think she has an outsized role in Star Wars, or are you happy we continue to go back to her?
No,
This is an honest question. This isn't a leading question.
I no, truly, I think it's purposeful, because I think that they are trying, like, I mean, obviously Dave Filoni it's Dave Filoni's favorite character, by far, like you can tell.
Right.
And truly, I think because I don't know if it's because he's shoved her down my throat so many times, but like she is definitely one of my favorite Star Wars characters.
Yeah,
for
me
sure. Like I think she earned a spot in my heart for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that it's hard to say. I think no, not yet. Because so far I haven't been like, oh, if only they hadn't had answered that question about Ahsoka Tano. Like, if we could have just had the mystery, that it would have been better. It's hard for me to say. I mean, because I'm not a writer too, so I don't really. I mean, there are certain things that I could be like that. Because I've seen how it works in other forms, but yeah. So far, I'm not in the ship that says that she's there's too much Ahsoka, I guess. In short.
That was very short.
Was
Yes,
that really
Daniel.
short?
Yeah.
Alyssa, where
Mine's
are you on?
actually going to be short.
Okay.
No, I'm not sick of her.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm done with her. I'm no.
Yeah.
Get her out of here.
The worst character. No,
The second he
it
heard that
popped
she
into
was
my
a
head
lesbian.
just because the reason it popped in my head just because I've been thinking and reading so much about where they intend to go with the Ahsoka live action series and how she's popped up in Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett and
Boba Fett.
Is
Remember how the song had his name in it? Boba Fett!
So glad they took that out.
It was the funniest part of the show. I don't know why they did that.
But I don't know. I was curious, like, what the temperature was on Ahsoka basically being the centerpiece of Star Wars for the foreseeable future, or a centerpiece of it.
Yeah.
It kind of feels that way, yeah. It does feel like she's the Luke Skywalker of the future. Like it like we had the Skywalker saga, and now they're sort of like creating an Ahsoka saga.
Well,
of
and if we're
sorts.
gonna see, I mean, there's a lot of speculation that we're gonna see Luke and Ahsoka duke it out with Thrawn.
Yeah, maybe.
That be the center of
Ooh.
Star Wars for the next 5 years.
Wow,
And,
wow.
mean,
Sure. Let's do it.
You know what though? I've got something controversial for you, like a controversial take.
Controversial.
Just because we have a sequel trilogy and we know where this all is leading, and that's kind of
Certainly.
what Mandoverse is doing for the sequel trilogy, what Clone Wars did for the prequels.
Yeah.
Which is fix it.
Fix it.
But I think
Fix it, Lord.
I think she needs to die.
Oh God. I mean, it's interesting because we do hear her voice at the
Right.
end of
Right.
what's it called? That movie.
Rise of Skywalker.
Yes, Rise of Skywalker.
If she was alive, one would surmise she would have been there to help.
Right. That's what I keep thinking
That's
too.
true.
That
She and I wonder if I don't like killing characters just to be contrarian. Like, oh no, I think she's the sort of character. She reminds me of like Gandalf.
Yeah.
And from an imagery standpoint too, and that wasn't accidental on Filoni's part, but I feel like a sacrifice from her at some point is where she's kind of destined to go.
Maybe it's possible. There is a world where she does survive too, and there's a reason why she wasn't there to help. Maybe, but like, and because like the hearing her voice in her head like doesn't necessarily mean that she's dead, because we have seen other characters like reach out with the Force to feel other Jedi, and like we've seen Grogu do that with Luke, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, I just wonder.
We didn't hear what was going on in his head, but I mean, assumedly that was kind of a very similar vibe, where he was like reaching out.
And there's been a lot of speculation that the World Between Worlds is going to show up in her series.
I believe it,
and perhaps be a major story piece for her series.
Do you think
and I wonder
there's going to be like a time shift of sorts?
Yeah, or if it's a means for her to travel around and.
Oh my God! If she somehow shows up in the Rise of Skywalker.
But I wonder,
like they're just like she's single-handedly.
She Avengers Endgame's the sequel trilogy.
I mean, I don't think that what they would do. I don't think that they would change what happened in the film, but they would.
Can't. They can make more sense of things. Like
yes, they can make it like her pop up and like, oh, this is the reason.
Make sense. Make it make sense.
For God's sakes. Yeah, it would be interesting.
That'd
to see.
be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the imagery of that, like it's so cool. Look at the World Between Worlds is so cool in the animated series.
It
like,
was very
it'd
dope.
I would love to see it live action. Like that'd be so cool.
Yeah, like weird Star Wars is cool Star Wars in my mind.
Yeah.
Like I don't mind them getting weird like that.
And also
Let's do it.
the bringing back Mortis and all that stuff. Like wasn't that their name, right?
Yeah, the Mortis gods.
Yeah, like I or at least more of that lore, because I think that the mainstream needs to know about that stuff. Because sorry, yeah.
No, I see I don't. This is getting too into the weeds and maybe setting false expectations, but I just wonder if you're including something like the World Between Worlds, it could easily be used for bad as well. And
Yeah.
I wonder if an Ahsoka sacrifice comes in the form of closing the World Between Worlds,
And that's where she
perhaps
is
being
forever.
perhaps being stuck there.
Oh my God. Well, that kind of leaves
I don't know.
the option open for her to come back in some other way. Well, though that is a way for her to not exist in the Rise of Skywalker, because she's just like stuck, and then they can choose to bring her back post, I guess.
I don't know.
We don't know.
I love
We don't
that though. Very, very interesting thoughts. I have a question myself, actually.
If you must.
Do you want to hear it?
No,
Only
but
if you don't
it doesn't
talk
sound like we have a
in-
choice.
This may sound silly, and I think I know what the answer is, but it's just interesting. The episode about Anakin
Yes.
training Ahsoka like with like this really harsh training of having all of the clones zap her until she's like, until she's like, And then, do we feel like that was just like profound, you know, what do you call it? Just poetry, and it was just a really lovely coincidence that he happened to be training her for the exact thing that she would need in the future? Or do we feel like there was I don't believe that Anakin, especially at that point, he didn't know, because that was before he knew the Emperor, who was the Emperor. Before he knew that the Emperor was Darth Sidious. So I mean, like, do we feel like that he sensed something? Like he was just like, I think that she's gonna need this little trick.
To me,
up
I
her
think
sleeve.
it's just kind of cruel irony.
Yeah. I mean, I believe
know?
that too. I totally believe that.
I like that answer. I don't
'Cause-
think that he.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, it's better to leave that up to mystery.
I mean, well, and without, to your point, without any sort of specific, because Force visions can be very vague.
Right.
You can have kind of premonitions without having any idea what it's actually referring to, and yeah, maybe
Because there is
maybe it was the
for that.
Force at work through Anakin,
Sure.
preparing Ahsoka for her own master's betrayal. And
Yeah.
that's very on brand for Star Wars. The Force being an entity in and of itself.
Sure. So not
You know,
really
it awakens, for God's sake.
Because I mean, he, Anakin in the second and third movies, well, really more the second movie, like, kept having these dreams, these really bad dreams about Padme.
Right.
Yeah,
and
maybe he was
and his
having those
mom.
about Ahsoka.
Yeah, so it's possible that there was some kind of a vision that he had and was just like, you know what? I think we should go for a little training session. But yeah, I was just curious if that ever came across your mind, because it did with me.
It's a good question.
But yeah,
Certainly wasn't
that's
lost on me.
that's the lovely thing about the show, is I think that like all of it was thought provoking. Like originally felt unnecessary, but they made it necessary. Yeah. I'm not sure. what
Star
else to
Wars has
say.
been on a great run as of late of being super thought provoking.
Definitely.
While remaining
And
by and large, maintaining that sense of wonder and being ultimately geared towards kids, even though Andor really
Yes.
kind of pushes it in a different direction. But I appreciate that we're starting to ask tough questions, and they're doing it through just fantastic writing, and
yes,
which is not something we've always
had.
privileged to have. in
No.
Star-
Particularly in the dialogue.
right.
And George Lucas is like, admittedly said that he's not a great
Well, and
writer.
we're finding great characters or revisiting great characters that have nothing to do with the Skywalkers,
Yes,
or
compelling.
or rather aren't a part of the Skywalker family, and showing that, like, giving Star Wars a kind of a new lease on life, and that it can survive and even thrive without Luke and Vader at the center of it all.
Yeah, in the sense of like destiny and all of that, like it was foretold. You don't necessarily need those things in order to have a compelling story. Yeah,
Right.
You really just need like good characters and good writing.
Yeah.
Really, at the end of the
That's
day.
it.
That's it. That's all
That's all
you
you
need.
That's
need.
it. That's literally all you need.
For
Okay.
goodness sakes.
And then cool ships and
Yeah. I
mean,
laser
that's
blast.
nice.
You know,
And
like
pew pew sounds.
Yeah,
Right.
pew pews.
Okay.
that's non-negotiable.
And
You need pew
excellent
pew.
lighting.
Yeah. Yes.
Never skimp on lighting. That's what they
No.
teach you in production.
Star Wars school.
Star Wars school. I went to 9 years of that. Doctor Star
Well,
Wars.
I think that unless you each have anything else to add, I think we must say goodbye. today.
Oh, I don't want to say goodbye. Do I have anything else to say? I don't think so. I was just gonna say that I'm excited. We've got, like you said, we've got the Bad Batch coming up most immediately. And I mean,
Yep.
Mandalorian season 3 is not very far away. Whoa.
No, and as we've hinted at quite a bit, the Mandoverse is going the Mandoverse and the Ahsoka series and everything kind of running parallel to that are setting up for quite the crossover event.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
I feel like
That's
we're gonna,
Baby.
God
dictate Star
willing,
Wars.
we're gonna get some more. I mean, if Boba Fett was any indication that, like, you know, we could get a Mandalorian episode in the middle of the Boba Fett, I think that anything's possible in the Mandalorian season 3. So I am thrilled, cannot wait. But yeah, so much cool stuff that's coming up for Star Wars.
Yeah, and then we got on the movie front, we've got Ant-Man. I think is our first
February.
big. Which is finally gonna start pushing Marvel towards its next big.
Yeah, it's the longest Ant-Man movie so far.
But it's a brisk 2 hours 5 minutes. I think was the runtime I saw.
All right.
Yeah,
Great.
So even though it's the longest, it's still a fairly short film.
Yeah. So Happy New Year, viewers and
New Year.
listeners, and
Happy New Year.
Here we are.
we're ready to dig in. I think it's only fitting we start this year with Star Wars. I think we've started every year with Star Wars, which
Yeah.
is going
That
back
feels
to our
right.
roots.
It's tradition.
It's tradition.
Great.
I
All
didn't
right.
even
Well,
sing it.
yeah.
I know you
You
all
thought
heard
it?
it. You all heard it.
Thought it.
You all heard tradition. I didn't sing it. Tradition. Okay, I did
Oh.
it.
Yeah, goddamn.
There it is. I can't help
Oh,
myself.
anyways, thanks for listening or watching, whichever thing you're doing.
Yeah, you could do both of those things.
Yeah, we're on YouTube. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook, maybe.
It's not as
Probably.
much, but
mean,
Instagram and
exists.
YouTube mostly.
Yeah, YouTube, Instagram.
We even have a
Pornhub.
TikTok
Tauntaun.
account allegedly.
Yeah, with one video on it.
You're,
really
Daniel,
need
you're
to-
responsible for
I
the
know.
TikTok.
We gotta
so
do some more stuff on there.
I don't know how to do. I'm
We're old.
ignorant.
We're younger than you, but
I
you,
am old. I am ugly. I embarrass you.
this is Inside the Tauntaun, a podcast
Is this what
in
you
the
call
multiverse.
love?
Podcast in the multiverse of fandom. I'm Alyssa Simmons.
And I'm Daniel Dawson.
And I'm Daniel DeCandros.
May the force be with you.
Always.
Inside the Tauntaun podcast. Please like and subscribe.